After the release of the R6 Mark II and also the RF 135mm f1.8, we actually take a look at some rumoured new cameras that Canon actually might be releasing, as well as some more lenses as well over the next year. So this could actually be a big year or two for Canon if they actually do release these cameras and also lenses, because these could be absolutely huge for the industry and also for Canon. In the article, we actually talk about their next potential camera, which could be the Canon EOS R100, and there's actually some leaked specs as well along with that. And then we also go up to the new, long-awaited and anticipated Canon EOS R1, which would be their actual proper flagship camera, and they'll aim to actually crush every single other camera on the market with it. So it'll be a lot of money, but I reckon it'll be completely worth it and probably one of the best cameras actually out there at the moment. So before we actually get into these potential new cameras and lenses, I will actually say I got this article from Canon Watch. Now I normally get them from Canon Rumors, but their site is down at the minute, so I just went on there and it looks like it was basically the same article anyway. So if you do want to go check that website out, I will actually link the article in a link in the description. But anyway, let's just jump straight into the article. So here we go, straight into the article. I will say though, here is what we might expect to happen. So it's no like proper credible source. Like there is obviously some nice rumors and actual reliable sources that have actually leaked some of the information, but this is like expecting. So it might not be their next camera, it might not be these actual 4 names and the specs, but this could be potential from actual various rumors that have actually happened over the past year or whatever. This is actually the news and probably the roundup of what's going to happen over the next year or two for Canon. So if we actually go down and we actually go for the first one here, as you can see, it's got the Canon EOS R100. It's likely to be Canon's next mirrorless camera to get announced, and here are the actual rumoured specs. So it's got meant to have a 24.2 megapixel APS-C sensor with the Digit X processor like all the other cameras. It's meant to shoot 12 frames mechanical, 4K 30. It's going to have dual pixel AF, and then 1.04 million dot variable angle touchscreen, and no EVF. I think some of Sony's cameras don't have no EVF like at all really, so this is obviously to keep the actual price down and really make it a budget camera, mainly probably aimed at content creators who don't really use the viewfinder. Like if you're going to be using a viewfinder, you're probably a professional photographer, not so much a videographer or anything like that, or content creator for like TikTok or YouTube. So that's probably what this camera is going to be aimed at, just so like more like the M50, but maybe like obviously a better M50 maybe, and without a viewfinder. So this could be actually interesting for a lot of like upcoming creators out there. I reckon this will be priced as very reasonable, like definitely under £1,000. So that's their actual potential next camera. Obviously I don't think it'll be this year now. It'll probably be early next year, like maybe March time or something like that. We don't really exactly sure, but they're the actual rumoured specs anyway, so they don't look too bad. To be fair, for like if this is under £1,000, like a 24 megapixel camera, 12 frames per second mechanical, 4K 30, it doesn't say if it's a crop or not, but it's a cropped anyway. So if you can do 4K, it can shoot 12 frames per second at 24 megapixels. I think that'll be a nice little camera for beginners, especially looking to get into the Canon R system, because if you pick that up, the Canon R, then you can get all the lenses you want, and then you can upgrade to maybe a full frame or something like that. So I reckon that'll be a nice little camera if they do release it, obviously for the right price. And then here we go, the beast itself, the Canon EOS R1. It's been rumoured a while and nothing's news came up since. So I have actually made 2 other videos on this, or maybe 3 now, I actually can't remember how many, on the R1 itself, and these look like the actual same specs that we spoke about. But if you haven't actually seen that video or the other videos I've actually done on the R1, we're going to go over them quickly again. There's not really specs really, but it's basically saying it's going to be the new resolution king in Canon's lineup. So it's going to be definitely more than 45 megapixels. I reckon it's probably going to push to like Sony's A7R5, I think now. Like I think that's got 61 megapixels. I think it will try and beat that, maybe even hit like 65 or 70. Who knows? Honestly, they can either go up to 100 if it's going to be that good, but I just think 100 might be a little bit too much. But new resolution king is going to focus on 8K video, so expect 8K 60 probably, like the R5C, maybe even more than that. You never know, something like that. Probably like some internal 8K 60 10-bit or whatever 12-bit video. It's going to be ridiculous, to be fair. So focus on 8K video, new resolution king. It's going to be like the ultimate hybrid camera, I think. It's going to have a new form factor and ergonomics, so it's going to probably be different than the R3. It'll be similar probably with the built-in grip, but I think it'll be completely different, like from going on this. That it'll actually be completely different, like ergonomics wise, so hopefully in a good way. And then it's going to have, well, new features, so that doesn't really help because obviously a new camera is going to have new features, so that's obviously not going to be the best. And then another long rumored piece of gear is the high resolution EOS R model. named the EOS R5D by the community, no serious intel. So not sure about this, like high resolution. The other one's going to be a new resolution king, so this could be the same one in 2, or who knows what this could be. And then we've got one more down here, which is actually quite interesting, to be fair, especially for videographers out there, is obviously the Canon EOS R7C. So a cinema crop style camera, probably similar to the new FX30 from Sony. I reckon that's what's going to rival that camera, the R7C. It's going to be like a cinema camera style with the cinema menus, but an APS-C camera. So I reckon this is going to be quite interesting as well. But there's literally no specs about it at all. Like, don't expect it before 2023 or 24. So maybe not even expect it to next year. So, but that'll be a very cool camera if they do release that. But if they do wait like a year or two, I reckon it has to beat the FX30, because obviously the FX30 is out now. And then what about lenses? So these are the actual rumored lenses. So we've got a Canon TSR 14mm f4. Now I think a TSR is, I'm not sure if that's their like APS-C lenses. I don't think it is. I'm not really sure what TSR is. A TSR 24 f3.5L, which is a bit of a weird focal f-stop to have on a prime lens. And then you've got the RF 10 to 24mm f4L lens, which is probably one of the most anticipated lens in Canon's lineup. People have been waiting for that lens for so long. Like, you've got the, I think it's the 11 to 24mm on the EF version. People really need like an ultra wide angle zoom, because the only wider angle they got at the minute is the 14 to 35 f4. But if someone wants a 10 to 24, that'll be a really nice focal length to have. Then you've got the Canon RF 18 to 45mm f4 to 5.6 lens, which is like just a kit lens basically. And then you've got the Canon RF 35mm f1.2, which could potentially be an f1.4 as well, which is probably one of the most anticipated lenses. I know I just said that about the 10 to 24 and probably the RF 135mm, but the amount of people I see online talk about the RF 35mm f1.2 or f1.4 is ridiculous. Probably one of the best focal lengths for a lot of people, the most versatile focal length you can use for anything really. People want the L version lens of that, and they've been waiting since the Canon EOS R came out in like 2018. So what, 4 years they've been waiting for that. So hopefully in 2023 we'll have that lens with us. And that's it for now, stay tuned. So that's the actual end of the article anyway. So we've got the EOS R100, the Canon R1, a new high resolution R camera, which I'm not sure on, and then the R7C, as long as them 5 lenses as just mentioned. So what do you actually think of all this? That is a lot of information I've just given you there, which is obviously not credible, probably really good information. It's just sources probably been leaked over the past couple of years. So a lot of it could be true, but a lot of it could also obviously be fake as well, like the high resolution R5, which is going to be a bit strange. So, but all the rest, the R1, the R100 and the R7C, I think they're good credible sources. So what do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Will you be picking any of these up if they're true? Do you not really care, or do you actually think they could do better, or do you think they should just release loads of cameras next year? Because the R1 needs to come out, and at the end of the day, the R7C, if they want to like compete with the FX30 quickly, that needs to come out as well, as long as the 35mm, the 10 to 24, a lot of probably lenses as well. So leave your comments down below what you actually think. I want to know your thoughts. But anyway, that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I guess I'll see you guys on the next video. See you later.